going to, but what would it feel like to have $10,000? Now I'm actually coming from the perspective is that it's actually, what is the frequency that is, that $10,000 is on? And so rather than trying to conjure it up in my mind, it's like, okay, if I have if I'm, been thinking about, okay, $10,000 and having this, I would have to do this, this, and this, and it would feel this way. Instead, it would be asking, what is that like? What is that frequency? How I would like to receive that frequency. And so if I'm receiving that frequency, then what happens is that to me, it's you're tapping into spirit, you're tapping into the quantum universe, you're tapping into source, essentially. And what is available there is way more and way bigger than we could ever conjure in our mind, because it's what we can think of is much, much smaller than what it really is available to us. And so when we do it from that perspective, one, things happen quicker, and two, it is just a much easier thing to do, because in that kind of tapping into that frequency, there's a whole universe there. And so it's exploring who's there, what's happening, as opposed to, oh, this, and this is what I would do, right? So it's kind of magic versus the logic, right? And really, I was using that combination for a long time of logic and, with the magic, but now it's really, let's just go over the magic side.
Yeah.
And create it.
And you know what, when we talk about magic, many times I think, we call it magic because it's an easy word, but it's energy.
Yes.
If you have a hard time saying magic or understanding magic because it sounds too Disney, well, yeah. Think of it in terms of energy.
Yes.
And nothing against magic. I love it. I think that life has to have some magic.
Yeah.
To have some magic. And I think that in my life, I've experienced it so many times that I'm convinced that there's magic there. But, you can think in terms of energy. And yes. If you feel curious about what Karen is saying, I encourage you to check thought leaders, for example, as Dr. Joe Dispenza, which I'm a big follower. Mm-hmm. And he talks a lot about this quantum dimension, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that he says is similar to what you are saying. When you want something, it's different asking, okay, I want whatever thing. Let's say I want to have a job that it's more fulfilling. It's different just to do kind of like the words, saying the words, asking, that's part of it. It's different when you feel, how would it feel me working in something that I really love, contributing in a way that I feel I can do the best. And there's something else that we need to consider. Things happen much easier and much faster when what we are asking not only benefits you, but benefits many people, benefits the universe itself. Yes. It's kind of like everything starts falling into place. And because what you're asking is not only something that you're selfish about or superficial or whatever, it's something that is really going to benefit. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we think like, thinking about money can be superficial. No, if you wanna ask money can be a great source of joy and, and health and development and, for so many people. But it's how we ask, what's the motivation behind it? So we really need to be aligned with the good purposes of the universe. So the good things start happening to us and through us to more people.
Yes.
It's how, from many thought leaders I've heard and from my own experience, that's how I perceive all these concepts that are new, because for many are new, and for some are difficult to digest because we are so used to live within certain boundaries, right?
Yes.
But there is no harm in asking. There is no harm in exploring, and there is no harm in letting blessings fall over us, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of like how I see it. So what you're saying is, okay, if you want to get into manifesting something, a desire, first kind of like feel how it will how it will be in your own life. Like start living that. And Joe Dispenza talks about falling in love with your future.
Right.
How do you interpret that, what he says, falling in love with your future? But because some people was going to say, well, live the present. So it's contradictions there.
Well, yeah, I think that's absolutely, of course, Joe Dispenza is awesome. And yes, falling in love with your future is a necessary part of that, but also falling in love with where you are right now. And, I talked about, connecting in with that frequency. It's you're doing it now. The more that you feel it now, the more you can connect in with that frequency of what it is that you want and fall in love with that whole process today, as opposed to the future. Because as soon as we say it's in the future, often it will continue to be in the future as if we see it in the future, as opposed to I'm feeling this now, right? Yeah. Like that's where I'm going to be, is just is being. It's already done, because every frequency, everything we could ever imagine in our life that we would want already exists. So it's just tapping into that, right? And so so again, Joe Dispenza's right. I would just change what you call it. I wouldn't say falling in love with our future. I would say falling in love with our now as we would want it.
That's beautiful. And yes, and love the process. And we've heard that so much and so many times from Evan Carmichael too. And that's something that he stresses a lot. You cannot only be focused on what's going to be the end product of something, because if you don't get that end product, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah. Right.
And we not always get what we want, and many times it's for our own good. Because it can be, we can end up getting something much bigger than what we asked for. Yeah. Sometimes we limit ourselves asking for something when the universe can give us so much.
Right.
So first thing, like, don't focus so much on what's gonna be the end product, because you don't really know. Bigger things can come your way, but also love the process, because isn't the process when you grow, isn't the process where you are experiencing, the magic of life. And I go again to entrepreneurs sometimes. We are so focused on getting stuff done. Yeah. And we start skipping, right? Yeah. The joy of the ride. Yeah. So it requires some training and kind of like being mindful about what we are living at the moment. Yes. And start kind of like having the sensation of what's going on in my life at this moment. And that's how in pieces you build your personal story. So you don't just skip to the future, right? And you don't make it based on pieces of the past. It's actually what you are living in the moment, what creates an interesting personal story. So it's very like I would encourage everyone at least to try, just for fun. Think about something you want. Think from a place of generosity and really believing that that's possible, just for fun. And sometimes you will be amazed of what are the results. And by this, I'm not saying skip the hard work, right? It's not about it. It's not about it. It's not about, being lazy and stay at bed. I want everything to happen, because then you're skipping the process, I would say. Or for me, that's the part that I don't, and I would like your opinion. So do you believe that grinding is necessary or not?
Definitely not.
I saw your reaction. And for me, in my head, somehow, you need to, life is not suffering, but somehow you have to earn. That's not, you have to do the hard work in my mind.
That's maybe a story.
No, that's all my upbringing. You have to work hard for what you want, and know that.
Sure, and look, we've all been brought up with that, right? That certainly is our parents' story, your grandparents. Like that's our lineage, right? Is working really hard. Is hard work gets you what you want. But what has happened now is that in this time frame that we live in, it's all about the hustle, right? And it's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I mean, really, who really wants to hustle, right? Like, I mean, because I don't know. It's just to me, that's an energy that is it grates for me, right? But I've had to also move out of that idea of hard work, because honestly, I've seen not only myself, but my clients, so many people go from here to here in like without all that hard work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll also say it doesn't mean that there isn't actions that are being taken. But I'll also say that when you're doing it, and when you're doing it in that space of love and you love it, it's not hard work, right? It's taking actions. But as soon as we say, yeah, it's got to be hard work, or I got to hustle,
it starts blocking. Okay,
it happens. Yeah.
Let's do something here. Let me help you to unblock my blocks. I'm gonna put myself on the on the spotlight, and because this is the thing. Many times I thought about things that they look so not probably that will happen, and they have happened. Me sitting here in this building, talking to you, doing what I do for a living, experiencing the life I'm living, I would not have, thought it's possible many years ago. But there was a point when I wanted this, and it's happening. So I feel like, wow, this really is something that, it's really possible. And I have like so many things, like even little things, silly things that sometimes I do. And when it happens, it feels like, oh my God, I really need to believe more because it's possible. Okay. So, but then again, many times I've heard that when you are getting into this, like asking the universe for something, if it doesn't happen exactly, or if it doesn't go as fulfilling as it was supposed to be, is because you have some blocks there, some things that are not letting you to do it in a full force. So what can be that? I just said, I think that hard work, it's part of getting stuff.
Right.
So what's there? Am I wrong or what?
You've been right for yourself. But if you want to keep doing hard work, awesome. Nothing needs to change, right? If you don't want to keep doing hard work, then I have a particular process that I walk people through, and I just call it it's a frequency release, because really hard work and the idea and the thought and the belief about hard work is just a frequency, right?
Okay.
It's just energy. Okay. And so I do a frequency release and then a frequency activation. So it's taking that that belief and that energy out and putting in something that is the thing that you want, right, instead, right? Okay. So ease of process, quick results, fun, joy, right? How? Just all that kind of stuff.
How?
So
how can I?
Do you want me to walk you through it? Do you want me to take you through it?
Okay, let's go for it.
Sure. Okay, so a frequency release, it's 3 parts, and it's going to mess with your logical mind. I will tell you that because, again, I've worked with very smart people just like yourself for a long, long time, and they want to know how it works, okay? Mm-hmm. I can't tell you. I can't really tell you, except that it's just we're shifting energy. I'll just say that, and we're setting a new intention. So there's 3 parts to it. So one, I'll just say 3 parts to the frequency release. So the first part is asking you if you're willing, or everywhere you've believed this thing, whatever it is, all the negative or limiting belief, are you willing to release it? Mm-hmm. And you'll say yes.
Yes.
And sometimes people don't want to say yes. Yeah. It's like, why wouldn't I say yes? But just say yes, and we'll play along with that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then the next thing I say is de-story, transform, and release. And this is kind of an intentional statement where you're really saying, I'm intending to let this go. All right. So it's not destroy, but de-story, because, and the spirit of what we're doing right now in storytelling, again, we tell stories to ourselves all the time. And so when something happens, we have a story, and then we add stories on top of that story to promote the first story, and it gets built up. So we want to get rid of those stories. So it's just de-story. And then, and so we're de-storying the belief or the feeling. Then it's transform. So de-story, transform. And so we're just transforming the energy and then releasing it. We're just releasing it out into the universe. Okay. When we do that, one of three things happens. One, you may not feel anything. It'll just be, oh, I could have just said that the sky is blue out. That's all, right? It's just can feel, there could be nothing. It's just like there will be no response on your side. Doesn't mean that it didn't change things. It's just you don't feel it yet. And that's what happens with my husband all the time. When I do this with him, he just like, okay, and he toodles off, and then things have changed, right? But it just takes time. The second thing that can happen for somebody is that after I say that we do that particular statement is they'll feel something in their body, and it can be absolutely anything. And they'll just feel something in their body. I'll ask after I say the de-story, transform, and release, and I'll ask, has anything come up for you? And it'll either be nothing, it'll be a feeling in your body, and then we'll explore that. Or the third thing would be a thought or an image will come to mind, and may totally be not related, but it may be at some point at an energetic level, and we'll just explore that. So that's the first process. And then the activation is similar, but I'll walk you through that after. So
okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good. And let me ask you something. Like, if people that is watching wants to do it, like can they follow follow along, right? And it will still work, right? Doesn't matter that it's not a direct conversation with them. Somehow it is.
No.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. It really is about shifting energy. It is about shifting that energy.
Awesome.
So and sometimes what happens also is, well, I'll walk you through that if it happens. But anyways, so we'll do the setup statement, which is we'll find what the limiting belief is, and we'll say, are you willing to release that and or transform it? And you'll say yes. So what we'll say is, everywhere you've bought the lie that it's necessary to work really hard to get what you want, are you willing to release that?
Yes.
De-story, transform, and release.
Yes.
Is there anything coming up for you?
There's anything? What is it?
Yeah, anything like feel anything in your body, a thought or an image come to mind?
No, not right now.
Okay, that's right. Everywhere you've worn hard work as a badge of honor, are you willing to transform that?
Yes.
Okay, de-story, transform, and release.
Yes.
Okay. Anything coming up for you now?
Yes.
What's coming up for you?
Yeah. Probably, at work, my work, if I'm not putting crazy hours on it, if I'm not, pouring myself into studying or into working, I feel like, I'm not doing it well. I'm not doing enough.
Okay. So everywhere you've bought that lie that if you're not working crazy hours, that nothing is going to happen, and you're not going to get done what you want to get done. Are you willing to release that through all time, space, and dimensions?
Yes, I would love to. Yeah, I would love to have freedom to.
Okay. De-story, transform, and release.
Yes.
Okay. What's coming up for you now?
Something, like
feels a little lighter.
It feels like I don't know, like emotional. It's like I'm getting emotional. Thinking.
So what's the emotion?
Um, I don't know, like it feels like it's like all the time I'm feeling I'm not doing enough. Like I always have that feeling I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough.
Okay.
And yeah, it's kind of like makes me feel very guilty. And, you know, well, yes. And, you know, guilty with, you know, I'm not doing enough. Like I could give more to my kids. I could give more to my family. I could give more to, you know, to my clients. It's always that constant feeling that I'm not giving enough. Well, what
Okay.
yeah, kind of.
Okay. So is it the same as not that feeling you're not enough?
I don't think it's not. It's like I think that I am a lot, and I'm neglecting to give all I can do.
Okay. So everywhere you've bought the lie that you're a superwoman and you have to look after everybody and it's your responsibility to do all of that. Are you willing to transform that?
Yes.
Destroy, transform, and release.
Yes.
What's coming up for you with that?
It's hard to let go.
Yes.
It's very hard to let go because then I immediately put together what I cannot be responsible. Okay. I cannot be responsible, and you know, and let the commitments that I have just, you know, in the air. That, you know, things that depends on me. And and the worst part is I still feeling I'm not doing all the things that I need to do. And there are things that I left unfinished that bother me so much. Yeah. But still I cannot complete them.
Okay. So when our mind is telling us this, in our heart we're feeling that guilt, and we're feeling those negative feelings. It's just negative. I'm just going to say negative energy, right? Mm-hmm. Our world has no choice but to reflect that back to us. Mm-hmm. It mirrors that. So our outside mirrors what we're feeling on the inside. And so therefore, we get more things that we feel like we have to do, and then we feel worse, and then our kids might be saying, "Mommy, you're not around enough," or you know, whoever is just wanting more from you. It's like they will react to that and say, "Well, I'm not getting enough from you," and of course then that makes us feel more if we were feeding that energy, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, because it's exactly. It's like you never really, like, I don't know how to express it, but you feel like, you know, you are not doing what you are supposed to. You are not doing what you are supposed to, or what you can do. Like, it's like that guilt. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So again, this is perfect in terms of what we're talking about today, which is storytelling, because you have these stories that you're telling yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And they're making it harder for you, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, so again, everything that is, everywhere you are buying that lie that you are not giving enough, that you're not doing enough, are you willing to transform that through all time, space, and dimensions?
Yes.
Okay. Destroy, transform, and release.
Yes.
Okay. How does that feel?
A little feelingness of happiness. I felt kind of like me trying at least. Yeah. To you know, to go that way.
Okay. Yeah. So that's that energy lifting. So one of my kind of superpowers is that I can actually also feel. I can feel when that starts to change and shift for people. So I can tell when there's resistance. I can tell when that energy is starting to lift. So this is good. This is really good. Because what we're going to just now do, typically I would actually spend more time with you, and we would do more of the frequency release. But what I want to do right now is I want to actually just now do an activation, a frequency activation of ease. Okay. So are you willing to have more ease in manifesting your goals?
Yes.
Okay. Destroy, transform, and release.
Yeah.
And are you willing to play with giving up the idea of always having to have hard work in your life? Okay. Everything that does in the way of that, destroy, transform, and release.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you feel that little bit of shift?
It feels good.
Good.
I don't know how strong has the feel to be, but it feels good for me to accepting that there's another way.
Yes, there definitely is. Yeah.
So basically, is that what I feel good still? Like, it's not that I am seeing lights around me. Not really. Like, no. It's just that kind of like, like maybe it's, yes, it's possible to do things or to get things, in a different way, which is not,
Yeah. And that's the opening of the door, right? That when we start to look at our stories or be able to recognize, that is a story. It's a belief. It's a belief. A story can be a belief, a point of view, a thought, a conclusion that we come to. All of those things are the same thing. But when we can start to think that, that isn't necessarily so. Or why do I think that's so? Like when we can start to question it, that starts to change the process. What I just did with you with the frequency release and the activation just speeds it up tremendously.
That's amazing. It's amazing. It's very interesting because, normally in a conversation like this one, yes, you discuss different topics but going through so many emotions and self-reflection, it's something very, it's unique to having this conversation with you. With each person is different and amazing, but with you, it has been like that, like more introspective. Okay, I can change something for myself in a way that can really, give me a different perspective of life. And what I know is that although sometimes limiting beliefs are difficult to let go, it is possible. It is possible to do it. And I should be more like willing to believe that there's not always, a path of suffering to get good things in life, because I've experienced it. But let go that limiting belief that I really have to grind to get every little thing. It's not easy, but it's possible. And when you were, kept asking kind of like in a funnel, right?
Yeah.
In a funnel type of direction, I was feeling like, okay, like, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So, it's awesome. And I hope that more people came along with this during, while we were doing it. More people try it as well, because it's, we are a field of endless experiences, sensations, and possibilities.
Yes.
But we explore it so little. We allow ourselves to explore it such a little amount of that. And that's why I guess sometimes our personal stories become a little bit plain, a little bit boring, because we don't dare to live beyond what we were taught.
Sure. Yeah, we don't question, we don't know, right? And so if we don't know, we just carry on, and we're just doing what we're supposed to do, right? But there's so much more. So much more.
Oh, thank you. But thank you for remaining with us. And
Yes.
even, you know, in these little things, like a specific, like we end up talking about the specific limiting belief that I have not really thought about.
Yeah.
And you know, and you know, you were so gracious to help me and to think about it and trying to open a different reality for me. I'm just gonna embrace it and see, you know, and see how it goes. Let's see what you know what happens.
Well, just practice the thought of it being easier than that it can be easier, right? If you just practice that thought,
that things
it
exactly
starts to change.
exactly. Yeah, it's true. And you know, I'm just gonna like start doing something that I postponed it for so long because I thought it was so like I see it as a mountain, and right now I'm thinking maybe it's not that difficult. Maybe I should go for it. And I'm gonna report back, okay, on that.
Yay!
Report back on that.
Yay!
to see how it works, because that would be so cool, because it would bring something that I really need. And you know, if it finally happens, I want it, you know, when it happens, happens, I'm gonna share it with you.
Yes.
Yeah, look at what Ida's saying. She's saying same belief I had for tax season, being an accountant. Of course, is a time-consuming type of, like I'm in law, right? It's similar, kind of similar. And she says, I totally decided this year will be different, and the stress level is way less.
Yes, absolutely. I have a particular client. He's been my longest term client. We've worked together for, I don't know, it must be 15 years now, because his life just keeps getting better and better in leaps and bounds. But he's an accountant. He's a CPA, CPA by profession. And his first years is like tax season. Oh my God, tax season. It was just like the worst thing, right? And now, you know, over time we worked on, it's like, no, let's just make this easier. Like let's just keep making this whole thing much easier. And now it's a blip, right? Like, he's American. They're in the middle of tax season, and there are some little things that you know come up, you know, with the people that he has helping him. But it's just little bits of energy associated with it now, as opposed to before. And maybe, Ida, you felt this way. It was just like, such a slog, right? It's just it's a tough time. So it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be, right?
Yeah,
that's true. Like, she's concurring with you. And what you just said is true. Like, our universe is the reflection of what we have inside. The reality is a reflection of our own universe. So it is like, we cannot change many things, but we can change what is inside. All these things that we listen, but sometimes we do not internalize them. We are not able to really, believe it. This is taking full 30 minutes just plus what you're just.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Texas will wait for now. Oh my God, thank you so much. Well, you know, I spend lots of time watching her lives too, because they are so good. And with Ida, we have had many lives together. She's an awesome lady. And if you haven't heard, do you know her already? Have you had a collaboration with her already?
No, I haven't. No. You're my first collaboration. So yes.
Oh, I love to be first. I love
my
first. I love first. I'm a sucker for first. So thank you so much. I feel honored that you started doing this with me, and I hope it was a good experience for you too. And I didn't put you on the spotlight. It just took that turn.
No, it's great. I love doing this. I mean, this is part of my heart. This is part of my passion. I could do this all day long. So yes,
that's the perfect thing. You know, so many times we hear, like, you want to feel free, you want to feel fulfilled, you want to feel do what you love and do it. When do you know it's what that's what you're supposed to do, when you're willing to do it for free. And it's so true. It's so true. Oh my God, Karen, it was a great different life. I really enjoyed it, and we need to definitely do a follow-up. because
Yeah.
I want to see how, what happens next.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I hope more people gives themselves the chance to maybe experience the same, and be curious and try this. That can be a life-changing experience, depending on how much openness you have in your mind and in your heart. And contact you. And where can I contact you, or how can they contact you? Are you willing to work with people? I don't know. Like, I know that you work with big organizations and things like that. But are you also into helping, like, people, in
Oh
general?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I work with individuals, and I'm just going to be launching a group program really, really soon. So yeah, so people can come to me at liveannolimitslife.com, and or just connect with me here on Instagram. The No Limits Woman, I think, is what I'm called here. So.
Awesome.
It's on our IG here, but but yeah, it would be great. And Tannia, also for you, I mean, you do these amazing things for these people who are coming to our country, and making it easier, and hearing their stories, and loving and taking their stories, and helping them change them, so they can be here and live here, and study here, and thank you so much for that. That is such an amazing thing.
Oh, you know what? I just see myself as an instrument, like, literally. I was placed in a situation that I can do this for people, and it's not. I cannot take the credit, being honest. I'm kind of just like, here because that's where universe wanted me to be. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's just a gift, such a gift, like being able to do this. Whenever I finally see one of my clients arriving safe and starting their lives, it's like a personal win. Like, my heart jumps, and it really, it's a very fulfilling activity. It's, I know somehow there was a point, and you won't believe it, but there was a point when I felt very overwhelmed by all this. And I was having a big change in my life in many areas. And I started questioning, is this something, and why? Why I should continue to do this? Should I continue doing this? And, I started having all these questioning. And I did an exercise, which is the 7 levels deep. It's as an exercise, still, like, and these things can be so powerful. And when I get my final answer of why, it was because, I'm here to allow people with to explore and to really get their real potential. So it was like, it's not for me. Like, it's not that I'm going to be the president of a country, or it's not that I'm going to be, a CEO of a company. That's not what I'm here to allow these amazing people that are in different parts of the world, just by a fluke, right? They are there, where they were born there, whatever. And, if I get in contact with them and I'm able to facilitate this, that's why, that's my reason. And, whatever happens good for me, it's another benefit. And many, many good things have happened to me, and I'm super grateful. And it has all been because this activity that I do, and it's awesome. Like, I really, I'm really grateful with life for for living this, for being in this country.
Yes,
it's a big blessing. So Karen, thank you so much. It was a great experience talking to you.
Yes,
and
here.
Okay, and we did it on time. We did it like very, like, everything felt like in place. Amazing. Good. Thank you so much. I'm sending you a big hug. I know you are not that far, and I know that you will feel it, because I'm really sending you much love, to you, to those that are with us, to Ida, which, I've learned to love, and she's more than, just, she's a friend. And so sending you all lots of, good feeling and energy. And okay, so
Yes, thank you.
Let's look forward for the next one. I'll report
Yes, okay.
how things
yes.
go.
Yes, that's great. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Karen. Bye.